What's up, folks? It is Friday night. Yes, Friday night in a chilly environment here in Tampa, which normally in Tampa is not this cold this time of the year, but unfortunately, it still is. The good thing is tomorrow, for those who live here locally, we have Gasparilla, and you guys know when it's time for the Pirates to come out, everyone tends to get a little bit crazy. So we hope that everyone enjoys themselves tomorrow in downtown Tampa. Of course, then during the evening hours in Ybor City, it is Gasparilla, the adult version. And if you've never been there, I would say you might want to go at nighttime. Don't bring the kids. Whatever you do, don't bring the kids. But it's a lot of fun at Gasparilla. And nonetheless, as well, talking about having fun, my guest, Bree Bragg from the Kokomo Post and with the Kokomo Bobcats, I had the most fun in the green room talking to Bree, so I can't wait to bring her on so you guys can meet not only the personality, just how much fun she is, just speaking to her behind the scenes. So thank you to Bree taking the time for coming on with me tonight. And thank you, the viewers who listen in here nationwide, of course, international, out from Italy, France, lately from Australia. We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially down in South America. We appreciate every single one of you for supporting the show. Also, the TBL today, as far as the Charlotte Purple Jackets, making a huge announcement, which I will tell you here on the other side. But we plan, as always, to have as much fun as possible here on Broad Street South. And, of course, the Draft Combine is coming up this weekend as well, which I will be there. I will be doing some live shots from the Combine, so I can't wait to get up there, meet a lot of team market owners. Of course, David and Evelyn, who I've been gracious enough to be able to meet when I was with the Titans, and now I will be broadcasting for the Charlotte Purple Jackets. So a lot of hats to be worn this season, but I can't wait for the season itself to kick off. So with that being said, it is episode 175. I do appreciate, again, everyone's support, and as soon as we flip over to the other side here, Bree Bragg will be joining me here live on Broad Street South. So with that being said, thank you, everyone. We hope you're enjoying your Friday evening. I'm Angel Martinez for Sports Radio 102.9 and Broad Street South. Welcome to Broad Street South. Power up here. Here it is, Bree Bragg from the Kokomo Post and the Kokomo Bobcats. Bree, thank you so much for joining me this evening. I do appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited.
Oh, you're welcome. And as I said to everyone here in the beginning, and of course you can hear it in the green screen, but the fun part is that you get to meet people, right? And you get to network with folks, and you bring guests on, and sometimes you get to hear nice stories either before or after the episode is over. And it's been fun talking to you for a couple of minutes, behind the scenes and just going back and forth and things that we end up doing. So I want to recap a couple of things for everyone who's listening and tuning in tonight, because again, it's much appreciated of everyone tuning in. But first of all, you have, number one, and which I've learned, the crazy schedule of balancing so many different hats. Between one is being a mom, and congratulations to you and your husband for having two healthy kids. That's more important.
Yeah.
But also being multimedia with the season right around the corner. We're about 30 some odd days, if not less than that, for it happening. I asked you before, and I'm going to ask you again. What does it take not only to just be Bree Bragg for everyone, but then for Bree time whenever you have that time?
Well, Angel, we were talking, like you said, a little bit before the show started here. And like I stated before, there's not a whole lot of time for Bree right now. So between working full time and having two kids, there's not a whole lot of free time happening currently. But yeah, there's a lot of arts and crafts, a lot of drop off and pick up at school. There's a lot of 9 to 5 and some extra stuff in between there. And then there's the Bobcats that are just around the corner. So that will definitely add some hours onto that schedule as well. But hey, I wouldn't trade it for anything. We're having a good time. And when I do get a free bit of time, I like to enjoy local arts. I like music. That's kind of how I got started here. So yeah, that's what I like to do when I get some free time.
Well, and again, it's tough too, because for people who have never decided to come into this realm of the world, when it comes to media, when it comes to content creation, I think people don't understand, like, it's not copy pasting. You just can't go and see what someone else is doing on YouTube or TikTok and then come out, oh, I can do exactly what they're doing. it's the investment in time. It's having the patience. It's putting all these different little items together in order to be successful. And not only for, obviously for you, for the company you're working for. And then if you decide to go on your own, that's a whole different story as well. But I think that's where people get things mixed up, is that it's hard to put the time and effort together. When you have a family, especially with you, again, with 2 young ones, it makes it extremely hard, because between you and your husband have to play that balancing act. Like, okay, who's going to watch, the children this evening? When does mom have time to do things that she has to do? And on top of that, then yourself, when it comes to scheduling someone, sometimes it's tough, because I'm fortunate. I'm able to do it at nighttime with everyone else. Every once in a while, I do get one during the day. But for you, because most of your time is invested during the morning, now it seems like you're going to be running 18 hours, because you have your usual show in the AM, and then you'll have the broadcast in the evening time for Kokomo. So how do you at least get around to scheduling things without kind of conflicting your own schedules?
Here's the thing with me is that I'm notorious for conflicting my own schedule a lot of the time. So I wish I could tell you that I have it all figured out, but I really don't. My schedule is pretty consistent at work at the Kokomo Post. So I'm there Monday through Friday doing what I need to do. And then Bobcat season arrives, and this is my 3rd season with them. And then I just kind of roll with the punches from there. I check out the schedule. I know when I need to be there. I'm early to get there, and I'm late to leave, because I'm nosy. I want to know what's happening before, and I want to know what's happening after. So that 2-hour game typically stretches into a 4 to 5 hour long event for me. And then, I was talking to you before, it's really become a blessing for my family, because they're super involved with the Bobcats as well. So it's been a fun family activity for us. So I'm grateful for that. We spend a lot of time together at those games. And then we come home and we put some kids to bed, and then we do school. And then when the weekend comes, we stay up late and we just enjoy our time, probably chilling on the couch, watching some Netflix.
That's right. Well, everyone uses the whole Netflix and chill, of course, for many, many years now at this point. And by the way, for those Netflix, here goes your free plug. But for those who like to share their passwords, you guys are about to pay the price, because Netflix is starting to harp down on, people just going around and like, oh yeah, here's my password. So just get your own account. It's $20, whatever it is, $12. It's not like you have to bet the farm.
It's rising all the time. It started at $7 and here we are at 20. But I don't know about you, but as the resident account buyer, I'm starting to kick some people off there.
No, it's true. Well, because sometimes I know, like when it initially started, everybody did it. I don't care who it is. It's like, oh, well, if my sister calls me, yeah, here's my password and this and that. And until it started getting their own accounts, but everyone's guilty of it. So Netflix, don't hold it against everybody. I mean, if not, maybe charge, I don't know, $2 for the extra password. But
that's an idea.
Man, they just got to take care of business. I understand it. But you talked about before as well, which I found very, very interesting, as far as being a singer, which again, that takes a bundle of nerves. You said you were doing it when you were younger and a place you tried out for. So I want for everyone to hear it as well, because that has to be obviously doing media content. Again, just to separate the two. When you're a singer, there's a different setup, which obviously that different ways, how you schedule things, how your voice is, how you're supposed to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Completely different from just speaking into this thing and worry about how your throat feels that day.
For sure.
So I like to know when you got started as far as wanting to become a singer, and then how far did you get in your career?
Well, it started very young. I was probably my son's age, around 7, when I decided that I really liked music and I really enjoyed singing. So, of course, it started with your school talent shows. So it started there. And then I think my family realized, like, hey, she's kind of good at this. So my mom was a big cheerleader for that. So I begged her to do all of the singing things. I wanted to do all the shows, all the talent shows, the karaoke contest. I wanted to audition for all the things. So I spent a lot of my youth auditioning, which, like I said before, were they're still some of the best times of my life. They were crazy and fun, and lots of late nights and random cities and lots of auditions. So that's really where it got started. I think most of my audition journey started when I was 16, because that meant that I could start auditioning for reality shows. So I have auditioned numerous times for American Idol and The Voice and America's Got Talent and anything you can think of. I've probably auditioned for it, and that is not what you see on TV. I always love the questions I get with that because it is not at all what you would expect it to be. So I've spent a lot of time sleeping on sidewalks with my family, waiting for times to get into auditions. I have slept overnight in cars with my mom while we bounce from city to city, trying to find a hotel that will let us get ready there for a couple of hours so we can go to the audition. So I did a lot of that. When I was younger, I guess, I did a local talent show here, which actually led to bigger things than I could have imagined. We had a local talent show here called Kokomo's Got Talent. The city that I live in is Kokomo, Indiana, and it was a big deal back in the day. I don't know how they pulled it off. I would like to know because I'm very much involved in city things now. I would love to know how they pulled this off. But they had some big timers come to the city. Okay, so they had some producers, some managers, some scouts, and then they also had the judges were 112. So I don't know if you're an R&B fan, but 112 was a really big deal back in the 2000s. They're most known for their song called Peaches and Cream, which was a Billboard topper. So they were the guest judges, and I think I came in second place in that contest. But I took it to heart. If I didn't win, I was a bad loser. I was a sore loser. It broke my heart. But the producer there, he really liked me. So he wanted to introduce me to 112. So we got to do that. And that kind of led to other things with him. So I spent some time in the studio with him, recorded some demos, was really into or interested in Radio Disney when I was really young. So yeah, I recorded a demo with him. I spent a lot of time in the studio at a really young age, and then as a teenager with some different endeavors. But yeah, so I did that from youth to my teenage years, and then after I graduated high school, I met my Prince Charming, and I got married at 19, and then a lot of things changed for me.
That's one thing. When you said that originally to me, before we came live here, it's funny to hear that because if anybody usually gets married at a young age, like, oh my God, what were you thinking? You didn't get to enjoy life because some people go through. I won't say my exact age, even though it's, if you add 21 a couple of times, you don't end up getting up there.
Okay.
But, some people end up going through like their mid 50s and stuff. They're like, oh, well, I got married when I was 18 years old. Now I want to live life. Right. So with you, it's been kind of like the reverse. You've almost gone your adult years back to your teen years. And then now you're back to like the young adult years because how it's worked out in your life, which has been pretty much a real big blessing. So when you talk about as far as singing, and we've seen the shows, obviously, what we see on TV, I'm pretty sure it's completely different from what you had to deal with behind the scenes. So if there's one experience that you can actually take back and remember, something that we normally wouldn't see on TV that you can share with us, what is it you could possibly share?
So my most wild experiences were always at American Idol auditions because it was so different than what I ever expected it to be. It was the most unglamorous situations, which I'm sure, as the show went on, I'm sure that they got better processes. But you would wait in a line of thousands and thousands of people. Just the news would be there. There were literally helicopters to get all the footage because there were so many people there for the audition. So you would wait in line just to get a wristband, and then you'd have to come back the next day and do it all over again to get through the doors to audition. And that's your 15 seconds of fame if you got it. So they typically held the auditions in some kind of stadium. Typically a football stadium was the biggest stadium that they could get to fit people in, and they needed it. And here's what we were told from the beginning. I don't know if this is true, so if you have any viewers that are former audition kids or something, maybe they'll know. But we were told through the rumor mill that this is what they do. They break you up into five. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All the ones go here, all the twos go here, all the threes go here, right? And then they have about 15 booths set up down in the arena. And so they split you up and they put you at the booth. Well, this is what we heard, is that each booth had a goal. So maybe booth 1 was the good people. Maybe booth 2 was just the blooper people. Maybe booth 3 was really entertaining people. So regardless, if you made it to a blooper table, if you were good or not, they weren't looking for you that day, so they had to pass on you, which still I don't know if that's true, but it really stuck with me going forward and getting to see and experience some of the singers that I saw that I thought were incredible, that I watched them get cut in seconds, or the people that were clearly not good that were moving on. So yeah, that happened. I remember, I don't know if you're an American Idol fan or not, but back in their earlier days, there was a woman that was on, and everybody referred to her as Bikini Girl, and that's because she came in a bikini and she auditioned in a bikini, and she got some airtime for that. She sat next to me during a lot of the audition phase. But yeah, so I remember I went up with her. We were in the same group of 5. They sent us up there. I sang for maybe 7 seconds before they put their hand up and they stop you. They ask you to walk back. They let all 5 people sing. Then they bring you all up and they say, you and you can stay. The rest of you leave. And so I remember I got the boot on that one right away. I didn't move on very far at all at that one. And I was young then. I think that was my first American Idol audition, and I cried and I cried. And one of the producers felt bad. She was really nice, and she came and she gave me a hug, and she said, "Hey, I just want you to know that you have a beautiful voice, but we cut you because you're boring."
Oh, get out of here. Oh
And I
my
was
God.
like, I'm boring? What? Which I was. I was a really shy kid. I was the kid that turned tomato red anytime I had to talk to somebody. I didn't have a lot of confidence. And that really, really stuck with me, that comment, after I watched Bikini Girl move on and I got sent home. I remember that drive home. I cried the whole drive home. I think we were in Louisville, Kentucky. I think that's where that audition was at. But I cried all the way home. And my mom was like, all right, let's move on. Get it together. Pull yourself together. You're fine. Like, there's more auditions. They were actually hosting auditions in a lot of nearby cities. So we were actually getting ready to pack up and head to the next one. And my broken heart couldn't take it. I said, just take me home. I'm boring, Mom. I can't do this. So I think that really stuck with me and helped me, as much as it hurts, I think it's good to get knocked down a few pegs when you're younger, because I definitely at times had a big head, and I definitely needed to be knocked down a few pegs. But that killed my confidence, and then I went home and I thought, I'm not going to be called boring anymore. So then I wasn't.
I would bet that's the first one. That's going to be a huge slap in the face, because that's crazy. But if I do remember correctly, Bikini Girl, I think, only made it not even to the next round, if I remember correctly, because she was out of there early.
She was out of there pretty early. I think she did get a golden ticket. I think she moved on to that phase where you could at least go and see the judges, because that's another common misconception. They always say, "Oh, did you see Simon? Did you see Paula?" No, they're not there. They're not there at all. And most of the time, the host isn't even there. So back then it was Ryan Seacrest. But no, Ryan Seacrest isn't there either. They just have a ton of producers, and you sit in this giant stadium and they make you say 100 times over for the camera, "You're watching American Idol," and if somebody's off, then they make you redo it. So it was just a lot of that. It was not at all what I expected, but still, no matter how many times I got cut, still some of the best days of my life. I had so much fun doing that. There's so many days that I'm like, oh, I miss those days. Those audition days were so fun and chaotic, and I was such a baby, probably seeing and doing things I shouldn't have been doing at that phase of my life, but it was so fun.
Well, I would bet. I mean, it's first of all, because we don't get to see this stuff, right? That's all you hear, all you see. Which I kind of so early on, I thought, when my sister and I used to watch it, I used to think the same thing. Like, there's no way that he went through all those people in that crowd and they came in front of everybody. So at least there's truth in what you said. That, they're not there. But man, that's wow. That is a big kick in the gut, especially someone tells you you're boring.
Especially when you're 16,
Yeah.
when you think that you're the coolest kid on the block, and somebody tells you you're boring. Wow, that really gets you.
Man, that would, man, boy, you have. I think I probably would have had some choice words when I was 16 back then. They really say,
just
but
had
you
fear.
learn as you grow, and that's just incredible. But you know what? So in a way, it is good, because like you said, it does make you a little more humble. You've gone to bigger and better places right now, and you're young still, so you never know where you're going to end up, which is great. And for me, see, now it makes me even a bigger fan of Bree, because at least at this point, I get to see all the different steps you end up taking to where you're going to be, which is it's exciting. And so it's fun. It's fun to get to know somebody, especially get to hear a lot of behind the scenes stuff that again you don't get the chance to hear it when if we were talking like if let's say we were at a bar that night and I happen to come across you and your husband and we get into conversations, you wouldn't get probably that detailed into a conversation because we're at a bar and like okay, like I'll throw this guy a crumb or something and speak to him a little bit. So in a platform like this, you get to hear a lot more things. But it's fun because this is where people get to know you as the person versus getting to hear about everything else you end up doing. So it just I enjoy it and I love the story and it's absolutely fantastic. But before we get into more Kokomo talk and more talk as well with you, also for those who are tuning in tonight, we do appreciate it. It is episode 175. I am here with Bree Bragg with the Kokomo Post and Kokomo Post Media, and also joining me, which has become pretty much like my dad, great friend. And he's always around. Let me bring up this screen here to surprise Bree a little bit. Oh. It is the president of the TBL. And also, if I see Anthony hanging around there in the background, maybe Anthony, the feed will end up coming in. But David, first of all, thank you for joining us tonight. I do appreciate it. And I know I saw the basketballs delivered to your house. I just want to say, I just want to reserve just one. You, Evelyn, sign it, and then I'll just take it back home.
They're yours. We got one for you.
Good surprise. Look at this.
Well,
am I on?
Yes, you're on.
Okay. Well, I only wanted to jump on to let your listeners know that how blessed they are today to get this young lady to talk to. She is amazing. She brings so much energy to our games. She is in a good place all the time. And quite frankly, the Kokomo faithful love her. She's like the opposite of the player. She's tiny and she's petite and she's out there. In the first year, she was two people. They got to pay two for the price of one because she was fairly pregnant the entire time, and just her energy and the fun things that she does, Angel, away. Hey, Anthony, away from the court. Where she goes to practice and she tries to get the boys to sing the Beach Boy song, and none of them know the words, and it's just hilarious because what she does for us is she takes and brings the personality out of our guys, and the biggest thing that we love about one of the biggest things we love about our league is that our guys have amazing personalities and we don't get to see them. So with Bree, the on-court stuff's incredible, but the additional stuff that she does away from the court, where we really see the guys, trying food that they haven't tried or doing things they're just great, and then the guys get excited because one of the coolest things about the Kokomo Bobcats is about 80% of the home games, someone's dancing at the end of the game. So when the music starts bumping, you'll look up and there'll be 8 kids, and next thing you know, there's a couple little kids from the stands out there, and they're just having fun, and it all starts with Bree's energy. And so I just want to get on and let you all know who you're talking to today and how special and how much we appreciate her.
Wow. David, wow, I might shed a little tear right now. That's so sweet. I was actually hoping that Angel would bring you guys up because we talked a little bit about the TBL before we went live, and I told Angel this is my first go around with sports. I've never done sports before. I've always just done entertainment. So I did not know what I was getting myself into before the game started. I thought, what are you doing? And then I got there and it was so much fun. And David, you've always been so sweet to me. And Coach Cliff is amazing. Love him. And all the guys are a blast. I have so much fun being a part of the TBL family and a part of the Bobcats family.
Well, and it's funny you say that, Bree, because as I said, you're spectacular. Coach Cliff, two-time NBA champion with Michael Jordan, and he is so humble about all of that. He's so accessible to the fans. Great smile. I remember they were not very good in their final game against Albany. And he stayed out on the center of the court and shook every Albany fan's hand, took pictures with them, flashed his smile. I know what it feels like to lose that final game, and it doesn't feel good. But Coach Cliff went past that because it was for the good of the game and for the good of the fans. And that's the kind of person he is. And with Anthony on, I'm certain he's going to get to his major coach hire today, who's another NBA champion and has that same personality, maybe bigger than Cliff's personality. This guy is one of the best personalities in the history of sport. So I'll let him get to that. But I promised my wife to watch a movie tonight. But I'm like, I got to sneak in and give Bree some love.
Well, please send Evelyn my love, and I can't wait to see you guys on the court soon.
We'll see you guys.
Same here, Coach. Tell Mrs. Maggie.
See you next week, Angel. See you next week, Anthony.
All
Thanks,
right, Coach.
guys.
I'll see you next week.
Coach.
Bye-bye.
What a good surprise. That was great.
Thank you. Well, I tried to do two surprises. One was with David, and then the other one here with the team market owner of the Charlotte Purple Jackets, where I will be doing the play-by-play and broadcasting this year, which I'm super excited. But then this drops today. If you guys can see it up there on the screen, Glenn Big Baby Davis, just out of nowhere, Anthony drops a huge nugget to everybody today, and that's the big breaking news from the CBL for those who've been hanging around, that the former NBA champion with the Boston Celtics, also former player with the Orlando Magic, signs today his inaugural coaching debut with any team, but he chose the Charlotte Purple Jackets. So, Anthony, first of all, thanks for joining us this evening. I know you're getting ready and prepared for the draft combine like the rest of us here, but, man, huge news.
It's incredible news, and it just fell in our lap. So we're really excited about Glenn. As a matter of fact, before I came on, I talked to him, and he said he's ready to do your podcast.
Well, I do appreciate it. That's gonna be fun. So, well, I guess I don't know if we drop a hint now or we just wait for a little bit and then drop it.
Well, we just dropped it. So.
All right. Well, it's true. So, well. With Big Baby and myself, we're going to be doing the Real Talk podcast, which should be a lot of fun. I can't wait to get that one kicked off, and that'll go throughout the season, throughout the TBL season, and then during the off season, who knows? Anthony will be a part of it as well, so it should be a lot of fun. And the great part will be there'll still be news to come. I can't wait until opening weekend. I'll say that much down in Charlotte. That's going to be a lot of fun. So as I told Glenn the other day on the phone, and Bree, you weren't there, but I told him, like my hand obviously is nothing in comparison to his. Yeah. So I'm probably gonna have like little fingers compared to that massive hand when he goes to shake it. Oh. But I can't wait to meet him, and it's gonna be a remarkable season.
Yeah, he's really excited. We got really lucky. He actually reached out to us, and he's just super excited to be coming to Charlotte. As this league continues to grow, as Mr. Magley said, and everybody in this league, we're just trying to incorporate the NBA and incorporate, and make this a better product every year. And, I think Glenn provides that for us. He provides a lot of visibility for our team. Today's social media is going crazy for us. We've had 150 kids want to come try out all of a sudden. And, I just think he brings a different level of entertainment, coaching, notoriety, spotlight to not only Charlotte but the TBL. And so he, like as I said before I jumped on with you guys, he was super excited, talking about what he wants to do and what he looks to accomplish in Charlotte. And we're just really, really excited to have him. We're gonna let him go and do his thing, and hopefully bring some of that magic. And what's interesting is he's already brought a certain level of celebrity to Charlotte in the TBL. I've had some conversations with some people who I probably wouldn't have had conversations with a week ago before we decided to sign him. So we're really, really excited for it.
That's good. Listen, congratulations. I will say selfishly, Bree, this is where I'm going to bring you into this conversation here. All selfishly, right. Okay? And I'm going to have to speak to Kokomo about this. I'm going to have to move your opening day. I don't know if do you guys open on the 4th?
I would have to look at the calendar. I don't know. I know it's in March.
Okay. Well, here's what I'm going to say selfishly. And you need to bring Bree for the national anthem down there for the opening game, because I think
rusty.
She would.
I don't know.
Bree, time you want to come to the Queen City, you have an opening.
Well, great. I will put that on my travel to-do list. That sounds like so much fun.
Come on down to Charlotte and hang out with us. We would love that.
That sounds great.
Well, we talked about, in case you missed it, Anthony, we were talking about as far as Bree, what she dropped the knowledge before we went on, we went live here, that she was, and to this day, she might still sing privately more than she does publicly. But, from what she was telling us about, auditioning out for American Idol, how she done it for many young years. And she's still young. Don't be fooled. She said she got married at 19. And Anthony, I want you to take a look because she looks all about 21, 22. Even though she may be a little bit older. But to me, you're not going to fool me.
Oh,
2 kids,
I'll take it.
but still
it.
young. Well, your husband does too, because I saw your Instagram post. Both you and your husband, you guys look way younger than what you probably are.
He's watching this right now, and I bet he's celebrating right now. I just celebrated a milestone birthday, so I will take that.
Well, that's good. See, and again, listen, everyone. I think we all grace. We hope to age beautifully and gracefully, as long as we try and keep the stress level down. But congratulations! First of all, happy belated birthday. If that was the case, and then
it was in July, so I guess it wasn't that recent, but it was a big milestone birthday.
That's right. That's good. Well, is the anniversary coming up for the wedding?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it is. It's right around the corner. Actually, last year we celebrated our 10-year anniversary. So if that gives you a little bit of information there about my age. Last year was our 10-year anniversary. So 11 years in April, which is wild. I don't know how I'm old enough for that to be possible.
Well, that is crazy. But hey, listen, we all eventually, yes, Father Time catches up with a lot of us. Even Tom Brady is finally catching up to him. Lord knows he's been trying to avoid it for many, many years, but it's not the case. But no, listen, it's good to see that you guys are taking care of yourselves. And again, it's stressful. I know for you and your husband, Drew Larison from the Kokomo Post here, huge, as he puts up there on the screen. Drew, thanks for tuning in. Did you bring him back? There it is.
Yeah, he is the CEO of the Kokomo Post. So here he is.
All right. Well, Drew, thanks for tuning in, Drew. We do appreciate it. But, it's again, as we get older, we all know this because it does catch up with us. We just hope that we age gracefully, and more importantly, because we want to leave our own, I guess, kind of legacies behind for our children. We want to make sure that we set them up for success. More importantly, the Lord knows that Anthony is trying to do that for his son, which I'm pretty sure he's got to be really happy. And, it's all these are steps that we try to do to make ourselves better. And again, and just set examples. We try to do the best we possibly can. And Anthony, let me bring Drew back up here. I'll bring Steel Spartan. Give me a second. Drew says the Glenn Davis announcement, great for the league.
Thank you, Drew. I'm worried about my son because he's already asked me to get 4 basketballs. He works for the team. He can't just sign basketballs for you and your friends. So he's really excited about it. But Drew, thank you so much, man. We appreciate it. And like I said, hopefully we'll get around the league and we'll play well and we'll go deep in the playoffs and meet Kokomo in the final.
Oh, come on now.
Well, the gauntlet has been placed, I guess, to say it the most politest way, but we'll see. It's going to be the Southeast Division. I told you earlier, Ant, the Southeast Division now, somebody could be running away with it this year, and we'll see. I know Central Bucks or Central Georgia with the Bucks, I know they're going to try and make a run as well. There's a lot of great teams in the Southeast, but you guys definitely stepped it up today.
Well, Wade's team is really good in Raleigh. So that's kind of where our measuring stick is, trying to get to where Raleigh has been in this league. So we're excited, but our entire league, Georgia Soul, the Coastal Georgia Bucks, Fayetteville is doing a lot, Central Florida is doing a lot. So our entire Gulf Coast, so our entire division is going to be really, really tough, and it's got a lot of talent and some really, really good coaches in our league. So I've set the bar high for Glenn. So baby, the bar is high. You got to bring some magic to what we're doing.
It definitely is. And Steel Spartan says, appreciate the compliment. Thank you. You're welcome. And
that's again, my husband.
Oh, is it?
I told you he would be really excited that you thought he was so young.
That's all right. Hey, it's listen, I'm only going to speak the truth because it is true. You guys in the pictures. And so All right, so you guys can go Bree Bragg online on her Instagram account, and you guys can see for yourselves they do look young, both you and your husband. So whatever you guys are doing, keep doing it.
I can feel my head getting bigger. It's just growing and growing right now. Thank you so much.
No problem whatsoever. But it's all about, again, having fun. And both Anthony, team market owner of the Charlotte Purple Jackets, of course, Bree Bragg with me here tonight, taking some time away from mom duties, also from the Kokomo Post. And again, thanks to Drew for tuning in. But upon your busy schedule, Bree, and we know, again, you have to juggle many hats. As you prepare now, as you said, you're now coming into the sports realm of the house, which is a complete different beast from what you do. And we'll get back to what you were telling me beforehand as well. Is it a much complete different setup for you compared to what you do with multimedia to get yourself then ready and amped up for the TBL season?
Oh yeah, it's way different because at my job at the Kokomo Post, I cover a lot of entertainment and a lot of local information, and that's stuff that I'm all very well versed in. It's my hobby outside of work. I really love entertainment. I really love knowing what's popular and trending, and I really love knowing everything about my city. So my job is a totally different ballpark than the Kokomo Bobcats because, like we mentioned before, I've never done anything in sports before the Bobcats. So this is my third season with them, and I'm learning. I still have a lot to learn, but Coach Cliff has taught me a lot. The guys have taught me a lot. Drew, who's watching, thinks that I could still brush up on some skills, which is true. I definitely can do that. But no, it's totally different because I got to switch hats and I'm learning something brand new while just doing it. So there was no training going into that. And so, I'm winging it. I'm winging it. Really, I am.
No, but see, now, I will say, and Anthony could probably back me up on this one, when he was with the Connecticut Cobras, because it'll be the first year down in Charlotte for him, but a lot of the guys and girls who get picked up by the TBL, because it's opportunities. If anybody ever follows me on social media, they'll see every single time when I retweet something from the TBL, it's opportunities. They're showing you how to grow, whether it's growing your own brand, whether it's, coming into the league and figuring out if this is something for you, because what a lot of people don't understand, and last year when I was with the Tampa Bay Titans, it's 2 hours, 34 minutes on a regular game if everything goes well, where it's nonstop talk. And it's when you're by yourself, you really, in the back of your mind, you have to think, okay, let me not repeat something that I end up saying in the very beginning. And then how do I keep the feed going all the way to the very end and build the excitement? And even when you have your team in the Titans, two games back to back, one game they were down by 22, another game they were down by 24. When you're doing the broadcast, it's different when you're trying not to be like, here we are. We're getting lambasted by 18 points. And what are we going to do next? No, you got to keep everything kind of uplifted so that everyone who's hearing you, because you're within feet of everybody, of what's going on, you still keep it entertaining. Now, when they start coming back, in which the Titans did both games, and in one game they won by 1, the next game they ended up winning by 2. It's funny when you hear people saying in the broadcast field, oh, well, you can't show like your patronage to one team. You have to make it even for both sides. And which I try to do that like all the time. But it's hard because when you're rooting for the home team, that's what you expect. You expect for them to come back and put that feeling in there. So I don't know if you've gotten the chance within your first season of like feeling that way where it's like, okay, what do I do here? How am I going to fill in this time? And if there's minimal things to talk about, it makes it extremely hard. So I'd like to get at least your input from your first year with Kokomo, and then how was that experience now that you have that first year under your belt, now leading into year 2?
Well, here's what made things less intimidating for me is that I'm there on court entertainment. So, I got the phone call before I even knew the team was coming to Kokomo, and they said, hey, this professional basketball team is coming to Kokomo. It's going to be a really big deal. We've been throwing around some ideas. We really want an MC, and I've mentioned your name. Other people have mentioned your name, and we really want you to do it. And I told this person who was an old coworker of mine. I said, no way, you don't want me to do that. I don't do sports. I can't do that. And he said, Bree, we're gonna have a whole team of people. Okay, we're gonna have sports announcers. We're gonna have analysis. We're gonna have all the people worrying about the important game stuff. All I need you to do is know the very minimum and come entertain the crowd. said, okay, let me think about this. So I talked it over with my husband. I said, you're not going to believe this. They want me to MC a basketball team. And we both laughed together because, as stated, I am not into sports. So, we thought about it, and I talked it over with my boss, Drew, and I talked it over with everybody, and I thought, I can't do this, right? And they all kind of encouraged me. Again, very entertainment-based, less sports knowledge-based. So I thought, let's do it. Let's give it a shot. So luckily, the TBL team and the Bobcats team, we are very much like a family there. So Sam, who's the general manager of the Bobcats, he has helped me so much. He was really like a mentor to me the first year because he does know sports. So I would really lean on his shoulder for those times that I needed to go out on that court and I needed to talk about sports, because not only do I get out there and I get people hyped up for the game and I get them excited and I interact with the crowd, I also adopted the responsibility of interviewing the coaches during halftime. And I thought, oh, I'm in trouble now. I don't know what I'm doing. And Sam really helped me with that. My husband has helped me with that. Drew has helped me with that. They all come to the games, and they'll feed me some lines. They'll bring me up to speed on what's happening during the game. So have enough knowledge to interview those coaches. And now I'm starting to catch on. I still have a lot to learn, but I'm starting to catch on now to where I can form those questions, So yeah, the first year, real scary. No idea what I'm doing. Second year got a little easier, but not, because I was pregnant during the whole season. So that got crazy. And now the third season, I'm ready to go. I feel like I have more knowledge than ever before. So I feel good about it.
All right, listen, and it's good, especially if you have people that are helping you out. That's even more important, because it's tough when you walk into it. And I think this is where a lot of people need to understand what goes on behind the scenes here. So when you get hired by a team and they tell you to come out and learn about the team, you learn on the fly. There's no, oh, by the way, I'm going to give you the script, or I'm going to give you this manual, and here's what's going to end up happening. No, what ends up happening is that you start learning the players, you start getting at least their average of what's going on. You do have the statisticians, because at the end of the quarter, they go run up the bleachers and they hand it to me, and you get to learn all these different things. But as the season continues, that's when you start hoping, okay, what did I do maybe not so good on this one, and maybe where I can get a little bit better. Now, anything else like the feed, if something happens, equipment, everything else, that's something completely out of your realm, out of your, there's nothing you can do on that behalf. But during the game, it's one of those things, like in my mind, when I'm doing a broadcast, like, okay, I talked about this, now I have to do that. There's nothing, I don't ever write anything down. And for anyone who's tuning in for the first time tonight, and Steele, I'll get to your comment here in a second, but the big thing is, I don't ever write questions down. Why? Because it's all up here as far as what happens, and as everything flows. During a broadcast of the games, it's the same exact way. And what I try to do is remember something that happened maybe in the first quarter and come back and talk about it in the second. At the half, you're trying to recap in your mind, because there's no, we're not the ESPN. We don't have people to be like, replay that tape and let's show them, exactly what you end up missing out. These are all the things you have to keep in the back of your mind. So I'm glad you've been able to get a taste of what goes on with the TBL. And it again, completely different from what you do during your day in your full-time job.
Very much.
Because it's just going to get a little more complicated as more teams get added, as different things end up happening. But you do have a good cast. I will say that much. This year with Charlotte, I can't wait, because I know Anthony's got a crazy lineup down there in Charlotte. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now with this huge announcement, I don't know how we're going to keep people out of the house, because at Steph Curry's place, it's going to be absolutely insane. I can't wait now. First, I couldn't wait until Draft Combine weekend. Now I can't wait until March 3rd, 4th, and 5th, because it's going to be absolutely crazy. So it's so much fun. I've really enjoyed the time coming in with the TBL and growing with them and learning about all the different team market owners, the different coaches I've had on, a couple player prospects that have come on. Anthony reached out to two of the guys that actually were on the show. Paul Hill, thankfully, he got signed by St. Louis. That was really exciting. Junior's still waiting for his opportunity, and hopefully he'll make it up there. But yeah, this league, it's fun. I will say it's a lot of fun for those who want to make it fun. If you didn't have a good experience, well, you might want to check and see what you did yourself. But overall, it's a lot of fun. And Steele, let me get the comment back up here. She says that she's not lying. She used to think free throws were a football term.
I'm notorious for saying your Bobcats are coming back out onto the field. So noted. I don't say that anymore. I'm
That's all right.
learning. I'm growing.
It's okay. Well, listen, first of all, before I get back to Anthony here, what team does your husband like in the NFL?
He's a huge Steelers fan. He has been for a lifetime. The Steelers are not doing great right now, so my household is not that happy right now on football days. Football Sunday's been rough here lately, but huge Steelers fan, which is the steel, where the steel comes into the Spartan there in that username. Big
Okay.
Steelers fan. So yeah, I've been used to football, so I could maybe throw around a few football terms and convince you a little bit that I might know something. I don't, but I might be able to confuse it for a second. But yeah, basketball, we never did. We were never a basketball family, but now we are. And now he's even told me that he might be enjoying basketball more than football, which is like groundbreaking.
Wow.
I know.
Well, see, all right. So let your husband know he has an open invite to come onto the show.
Oh,
So
God.
we can come on to the show. We'll get into some talk here. As far as the Steelers. And then there's also, I'm getting for some reason echoing myself here. But when your husband comes on, there's also a good friends of mine out in Ohio. The Steel City Renegades. And he would have fun talking with them because Dave and those guys, they get completely crazy as far as talking about the Steelers and how things didn't work out so well. He would appreciate probably going on their show as well. They're a lot crazier than what I would be because they're kind of like no holds barred over there. So they'll say whatever they want on their mind. Your husband has an open invite to come on, and we'll talk about the Steelers and hopefully to see what the Steelers are going to do next season.
You know, we talk about how I don't know a lot about sports. I'm learning there. My husband doesn't know a lot about podcasting, so careful there.
All right. No problem. Anthony, now, you just also announced your coaching staff. Hold on. He just commented. I'm in, just tell me when. There you go. I'll make sure I reach out. Bree, just look for it on your IG.
Man. He says I should try muting.
That's right.
Well, there we go. Maybe not. We might be echoing for a while, but we'll get through.
Yeah, I'm not too sure where the echo came from. Let me give me 1 second. I don't know where it came from, but it just popped in. Let me see if I can transition back over and see if it goes away. Give me 1 second. Anthony, hang on for 1 second. Just to...
Did it work?
Let's see.
I think it worked.
Maybe.
I don't hear any echo anymore.
I heard it on my end, but no, let's see. We'll bring Anthony back in here and see what happens. Anthony, you hear echo or are you good?
I didn't hear an echo from the beginning. I've never heard an echo.
Well, I did for some reason, and my producer just walked in. Hopefully it'll back out. But Anthony, the lineup that you brought up, Glenn Davis himself. This coaching staff you put together. How much? And I know because we talked during the offseason. And I know your stress level is way up at this point. I'm amazed that you're not in gray and white at this point. But how's it been putting this entire coaching staff together?
My coaching staff, they're such a great group of guys, and they're so knowledgeable. We started with Kareem. Kareem was kind of an original when we first announced that the team was coming. One of our assistant coaches. He has been phenomenal. He, during breaks and lulls and kind of putting this thing together, he's kept the guys together. He's kept workouts going. He's kind of been the glue between what we were building as an organization and the players. And then we were able to get Corey and Sam on the back end. Corey is a Charlotte playground legend. He's played all over Charlotte, played, some college basketball. So he's a big guy in the Charlotte community. And then Sam. Hold on, did I lose you guys?
You were just there, and then all of a sudden you disappeared. Let's see what happened to the feed here. Anthony, you were gone? Well, hopefully you'll come back here. He may have disappeared. It may have been an echo that came in from his end, so hopefully Anthony will join us back in here momentarily.
No problem.
Yeah, it happens. In the meantime, we can also talk about, I guess, by the way, how about for those who will be watching the halftime show, the halftime Super Bowl show, I like to know how they pulled that one off.
The halftime Super Bowl show?
Yeah.
How they pulled it off last year, how they're going to pull it off this year?
No, how they going to pull it off this year?
I don't know, but I'm so excited. If there's one thing I do love, it's a good Super Bowl halftime show, and I always get really excited for it every year. When my husband's making the sports bets, I'm typically the one making the entertainment bets, and I am so excited for Rihanna to be the Super Bowl headliner. So I think that's going to be a great show. If you are up to speed on Rihanna's career, she kind of took a back seat for the last several years, and it's been a while since she's put out some music, and she just put out the new soundtrack for Black Panther, which is a really big deal. So I'm really excited to see her come out. I think she's going to do amazing. But yeah, I love a good Super Bowl halftime show.
I'm dying to see what's going to end up happening here. I lost Anthony for a second. Maybe he'll end up coming back before we wrap it up here. But yeah, listen, last year it was quite exciting. This year, again with Rihanna, I think it's going to be super exciting. I hope a lot of the main hits that she's had in the past, that she brings it in there, which it would be nice if they would go over like the 22-minute mark with her, because I think it would just be that much more of a big show. The other thing too is, and a lot of people have talked about, it would be nice if they would move it. I know because it's a big ticket item and it's Super Bowl Sunday, but it'd also be nice if they would actually do it on a Saturday, because a lot of us have to work on a Monday.
Yeah, Sunday is a struggle for Super Bowl. We also we typically have a party for Super Bowl Sunday. So, the Monday after is a rough recovery, but I'll make an exception. I'll stay up late. I'll suffer the consequences the next day so I can talk about that halftime show. So.
Well, I'm hoping that this year, obviously with my Eagles, as I've been sporting all night long here, we're playing San Francisco on Sunday at 3 o'clock, thankfully, because Philly has this thing, Bree, where they will grease the poles because they don't want anybody climbing up there.
Really?
It's been an epic fail year after year after year, because what ends up happening is people know that they already grease them. So what they do is they actually form a human chain against the pole. So one person will put their hand out and they'll climb, surpass the grease, and then be on top of the pole.
Oh my! What's the pole? I don't know the pole situation. So
it's your street signs,
okay,
like where it says like don't walk. So your regular like stoplights, and then also the light poles. So you'll just have people climb all the way up to the top, and they'll just hang up there.
Oh
and then,
my goodness!
Yeah, it's either you watch them fall miserably all the way down, or you just see them kind of squirming, and they'll get about halfway down the pole, and then they'll hit the grease spot and then fight for the rest of the way down. But yeah, it's been a thing in Philly for years.
Wow. That's really something there. That's commitment to watching the team.
It is. I will say, though, as much as ESPN and everybody else tried to say that we were going to burn down the city and everything else, that 2017 Super Bowl win, I celebrated all night long. I can't tell you how many miles into walking. Took the entire week off from work because I want to make sure I went to the parade. I would love to say, if, Lord willing, we get back there again, that I would make it back home for that second championship parade, but probably not. With the TBL season kicking off right around the corner and the draft combine and everything else, I would love to, but it's probably good likelihood I probably won't. So all I can do is hoping for a good remainder end to the season here. But listen, Bree, don't want to take up too much of your time. Oh, also, before we end up wrapping things up, you also have an Amazon Marketplace, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. I'm a professional shopper, if I do say so myself. That's something that I enjoy. You asked me my hobbies earlier, and I mentioned I really like live music and local arts and things like that. I also really, really like shopping. That's a hobby of mine. But yeah, I do that from time to time. More of a hobby, but. Yeah, I like to find, I guess a passion of mine is finding cool products and sharing them with people. I just really like to share things with people, I think, so I think that's where that accidentally happened.
It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. And the only thing for me, unfortunately, I'm not a shopper. The only thing, if I do shop, is all studio stuff. So that's about the most I end up getting out of my own little entertainment, because any job that I've had, normally it's always been a uniform. So I'm, I guess, good there, because then I don't spend a whole boatload of money on trying to always replenish and stock up. So it works out well.
I told you I like to know the trending things, and that also involves fashion. So if there's an UGG boot that I need, I gotta go get it.
Yeah, that's all right. No, it's good. Well, now you have to buy them not only for you but for your kids as well. So now you really have to have that fashion statement.
Yeah, it's a danger zone. My first child was a boy, and that's great. And I shopped plenty for him, but I have a girl now, so that's even more dangerous. So yeah.
Don't worry, it doesn't wait until you're lucky if you pass the terrible twos with your son. Hopefully, your daughter won't get it because if you do, it's terrible. It lasts about 6 months, but either one, it's terrible.
Yeah, I've already learned that the second one is built different. So this one is a lot more wild than the first go around. But yeah, I hope that spunk sticks with her and she grows up one day and people don't tell her she's boring and she can just keep going.
Yeah. Hopefully not. Because boy, oh boy, if not, Mom, did you hear this at the age of 16? Yes. And you got the trade. So yeah.
She's
We'll
not
see.
boring so far. She's doing great.
That's good. That's really good. But before I do let you go, Bree, please let everyone know where they can find you if you want to share on social media and also for your home games in Kokomo.
Yeah, for sure. You can find me everywhere. Bree Bragg online. That's 2 E's, 2 G's. That's kind of my thing there. So you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on TikTok, Facebook. You can follow the Kokomo Post. We create a lot of content. It's very specific to my city. So maybe you have some viewers here from Indiana or Kokomo. We have a big following, but if you don't follow us, make sure you follow us because you can stay up to speed with everything in the city that way. But right now we're doing some other really cool content that's not always specific to our city. I host a show every week called The Local Buzz where I highlight local things happening, but kind of going into that, I also do some interviews with artists that everybody knows, some artists and comedians and things like that. So we offer entertainment outside of our city as well. So if you want to follow us, go follow us over there. We're the Kokomo Post. We're everywhere. But yeah, if you just you want a good Amazon storefront, if you want to see some really cute selfies with my kids, or you want to see my thoughts on the Super Bowl halftime show, or some Bobcats action, you can follow me at Bree Bragg online. And we'll be covering lots and lots of Bobcats content on the Kokomo Post as well. That's something that has intertwined beautifully there. And we have a really awesome and creative team at the Kokomo Post. And we dream up really, really fun videos to do with them. And like David mentioned, I think it's really cool that we have the opportunity to highlight these guys because they're not just basketball players, they're personalities too. And when people get to know them more, they love them more. And then when they come to the games, they can connect with them more. And we have some people on the Bobcats team that I hope are coming back again. I know in the TBL they want them to progress and move on, but man, it's really hard to see some of them go. But we have some OGs that I think might be coming back. We'll see. But they've become true personalities here in our city, and I love that we're able to highlight that. We do fun videos with them, like David mentioned. We're here in Kokomo, Indiana, and as a Kokomoian, when you travel outside of town and people ask you where are you from, you tell them Kokomo, Indiana. They'll ask you like the Beach Boys song? No, but we just roll with it. So we do fun things with them where last year we created a whole Kokomo music video with the guys. So that was played at halftime a lot. We did What's in the Box, and we actually brought in exotic animals from animal handlers, and that was crazy. So we have a ton of fun with the team. So if you're really into basketball and you're really into really funny content, then you'll be able to find that this year on the Kokomo Post because we'll be doing it all again with the guys.
Well, that's awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun. I might have to end up swinging by for a game because that sounds pretty cool.
Well, I'll tell you. There is no team and no fan base like the Kokomo Bobcats fan base. Indiana, of course, widely known for basketball. That is what Indiana is known for. But man, Memorial Gym, which is where the Bobcats play here, the fans pack the stands. It is so loud. I am not exaggerating when I tell you my ears are ringing by the time that I leave that gym. The energy is unmatched. We have a drum line that really just fuels the vibe there at Memorial Gym. our little fans who we refer to as the Bob Kittens, the kids out there. They're so much fun. The players are always fun. The culture of the Bobcats, from what I've seen, is really different from a lot of other teams in the TBL. They're just a really fun time, and I'm really proud of the community aspect that they bring to our community. So it's been really great. So I'll tell you, Angel, you should come out to a Kokomo Bobcats game because I promise you're going to have a great time.
No, I may just have to do that this season, of course. And we also tend to forget, too, that don't forget, you guys can also get a subscription to the Kokomo Bobcats. How? Through TBL TV. And if you go to Panda TV, you guys will go to tbltv.net and look at the subscription. And you guys, all 49 teams from the TBL, you can find a subscription, but also just drop in. Listen to what Bree's doing with the Kokomo Bobcats. And you can, of course, follow your favorite team. But that's another way you guys can also hear the content if you are outside of Indiana. So if you're in Spain, if you guys are listening in tonight and you want to check it out, of course, time zone difference, but subscribe to TBL TV and then you guys can follow Bree as well on there. So Bree, again, thank you so much, and your husband and Drew for tuning in tonight and for putting the comments out there. I do appreciate it, and I look forward to speaking to you again. I'm pretty sure we'll do this again.
Yeah.
Maybe it's somewhere towards the middle part of the season. We can figure out exactly how the teams are doing, and then not only that, and get caught up with you because who knows? Maybe you'll be doing something else as well. So thank you again. Appreciate it, and I want you to enjoy the rest of your evening and have a great weekend.
Thank you, Angel.
You're welcome, and to everyone else, enjoy your weekend as well. Don't forget, if you are here locally in Tampa for Gasparilla, you guys go out there, be safe. Please do not drink and drive. Call someone, call an Uber, call a Lyft, whatever you have to do. And also, don't forget, Draft Combine is coming up this week. So this is kind of a preview to what's going to go on up there at Draft Combine. I can't wait to meet all the other team market owners up there. And with that being said, I'm Angel. This has been Broad Street South and Sports Radio 102.9. Enjoy the rest of your night.